Hi, this is Dr. Thomas Rocco from CBD Health Podcast. Today's guest is Susanne Caspar. She's the CEO of Linnea, which is a company based out of Switzerland that takes hemp products, makes very good CBD, CBG, cannabinoid products, and disseminates and distributes them to other pharmaceutical companies in Europe and in other countries throughout the world. Susanne, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with me on CBD Health Podcast.
Hi, Thomas.
How are you, Susanne? How are you doing? Are you
Uh,
all the way in Switzerland? Is that where you are?
Sorry?
Are you in Switzerland?
Yes, I'm in Switzerland. You cannot see
I
directly.
can't tell by the window.
One moment. If I change my camera to the outside, maybe you can see some rocks.
There you see it. Nice, very nice.
But
How are you?
it's getting dark now. It's 6 o'clock in the evening.
It is noontime on the East Coast.
Oh, so you enjoy it, huh?
Yes. So how are you? Thanks for coming on, talking to me.
Yeah, it's my first podcast. So let's
Very
see how
nice.
it works, huh?
Oh, go great. No, just very interesting, your whole life story and the company. I read a little bit this week about it's Linnea, right? Am I saying it right? And it seems like you're a company that you don't make cannabis, you're helping people provide it to the right people to use it for what they need. Is that do I have it right or not?
Yes, it's like this, yes. And maybe I can say I'm very proud that we have our 40 years anniversary this
I
year.
saw that. It's been many years, right?
Yeah, it's
1982.
it's our 40 years anniversary, and this is I think it's a little bit unusual in the cannabis field because you can find a lot of startup companies there, but we are producing APIs for the pharmaceutical industry, these active pharmaceutical ingredients.
Mhm.
So we do have a total B2B business. And yes, and we are doing this for a lot of APIs. And in 2014, we decided, okay, we have the knowledge, we know the pharmaceutical market, and we decided as well to go into the cannabinoid area. And therefore, a company with 40 years in the cannabinoids area. So it's great, huh?
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
it seems like what you're doing is you're receiving cannabis and you're producing it in the proper way to help other companies use it. That's what it sounds like. And so do you do everything in Switzerland or is it in other countries?
No, we do everything in Switzerland. So we are buying raw material from Europe and then extracting it in our production site here in Riazzino. We are located in Ticino, in the Italian part of Italy, and where you find the really nice Lago Maggiore, you find the best sunshine. And here we are located, and here we are producing the cannabinoids in our factory in Riazzino.
So do you go to different countries other than Switzerland to provide the proper cannabis for companies, or is it just in Switzerland that you provide?
No. For the cannabinoids, we are 99% outside of Switzerland. So we are delivering our products to not only the cannabinoids, but every product to 70 countries worldwide.
Wow.
And to 300 different customers. So you can find our products in Brazil, where we got registrations now for our customers. I need to say our customers because we are not delivering to doctors or to pharmacies. We are only delivering to pharmaceutical companies, and they are delivering then their brand to the pharmaceutical audience.
It's very interesting. I spoke with somebody from Europe, and it's so different than it is in the United States, where
That's right.
You're really already way ahead of us in terms of pharmaceutical grade cannabis, and it's much different than it is here. Here it's really regulated state to state, and they have it's not in the pharmacy at all. And part of it is because marijuana is considered a Schedule I drug in the United States, which means there's no medical effect. and those are street drugs. And the marijuana is still in that group of medications. And so pharmacies are not involved at all, as different than in Europe, which is so much different. You're way ahead of us.
Yes, yes, you're quite right. I think in Europe it's really a medical cannabis market.
Right.
And there are some countries, especially Germany, is now discussing to legalize the adult use cannabinoids for the recreational market. But this as well will be totally different to the United States, because I don't expect to have hemp shops in every street, and so you really need to be registered if you want to get a product. Most of the products you will get maybe from in pharmacies or in the pharmaceutical wholesaler. So quality is much more higher on the list of all the people in all the authorities. And I need to say, in Europe, we have a lot of different countries, and in every country as well, we have different regulations. Yeah, it's definitely much more quality, more medical cannabis market.
Right. Now, when you talk about cannabinoids can be CBD, it could be CBG, CBN. Yeah. Do you also disseminate THC as well? Or is it only the cannabinoids of CBD, CBG, CBN?
So for the moment, we are only producing CBD and CBG, right, because in Switzerland we were not allowed to export product higher than 1% THC. Mm-hmm. This law was changing in 1st of August this year in Switzerland, and now we are allowed to export as well a high content material. So we are now discussing and developing THC products, and we do have in plan THC CBD combination, THC CBG combination, because we have seen that these combination are as well very, very interesting. Right. But for the moment, we do have CBD and CBG, both as in full extract, so including terpenes, steroids, the other cannabinoids. So the CBD is standardized on 5%, and the CBG full extract as well is standardized on 5% CBG. And then you have the full extract. And as well, we developed the isolate, so when you can get 99% powder of CBD and as well of CBG. So and then we have dilutions with oil of this isolate, so let's say 20%. Right. And as well, we have one cosmetic. This is a special patented technique with the niosomes. So you have this CBD 1% or 5% inside of niosomes, and the niosomes cross the skin, sorry, right. Cross the skin, and then they were released, and these are the products so far. So your distribution's not only powder, it's also oil, and it's also topicals for companies that need it. Yeah, and then the oil we prepared as well in vials. So in countries like Brazil, where I said we got a registration. And this is mainly used for epilepsy in children. They got directly the vials, so that with the dropper, so that patients and parents can directly use it, or doctors in their offices. So again, that's so much different than the United States. You're right. These countries are using CBD as a medical therapy. Here in the United States, more like a suggestion with the typical treatments that you would normally get, like for seizures. In the United States, you would always use the typical medications that are prescribed by a doctor, and CBD would be an additional therapy. There would be no doctor in this country that would just use CBD for seizures, because we don't have like a pharmacy brand, and it's not really taught that way, but it's happening in other countries. And I think, like I said, we're steps behind other countries in terms of cannabis and
and all these different cannabinoids in their use. I've honestly only been involved for about 10 years and I'm still learning about it. I use a lot of it for pain because I am a general surgeon and a lot of my patients have pain, and using that instead of narcotics has been helpful. And it's only anecdotal evidence for me. I don't have any clinical trials for that, but it's amazing how Europe is doing it much differently, much more advanced, and getting it into, places and doctors to understand how to use it better. Like when you distribute it, is it mainly pharmacies that make the CBD to give it to doctors, or is it used for other things as well, where you're just doing the distribution?
So we are doing the distribution to the pharmaceutical industry. They are preparing the products, but they normally are delivered to the pharmacy, and the doctor prescribes, and it will be delivered by the pharmacy. This is the normal route. I think in some countries it's a little bit different, but you say
so obviously you're not doing any distribution in the United States, because that is not how it's working here. It's more people are doing it on their own, and they treat it. And as the FDA treats CBD here, it's a supplement. It's like going into a supplement store and you're doing it on your own. Nobody's really giving you any guidance. That's the only thing I'm trying to do, is give people some guidance and proper dosing and where to start. And
yes, and we really know that the patients are looking for this.
Right.
We know that they would like to get help from a doctor, to discuss with the doctor, because they really should know which cannabinoid is the right for their problems, and they really should know with what they should start. Should they take a tablet with very high CBD inside, or should they maybe start with THC? We know that a lot of people as well, let's say for migraine, they use only CBD. It doesn't help maybe during this very acute phase, but to prevent, it's a big help. And we really have seen that a lot of pharmaceutical or scientific studies have a lack of information, because we get some information, it's used as CBD, but then you don't know what is used. Do they use the pure? Do they use the extract? What was the dose? So you really can't find. So the studies as well are not done in the way normally we believe a pharmaceutical study should be done, so that you really can know, okay, they took now a 5% or 20% THC. So they only say we use THC, but it doesn't help if you know like this. And as you said, anecdotal, yes, we had a congress last week here in Switzerland, and there was one doctor, he is more working with problems of the skin. And he was as well, he told us, yes, I got my information from patients. Patients come with a problem, and they told me, I reduced my problems with this kind of cannabinoids. And then he said, and then I use this for other patients and say, let's try.
Right.
But
that's how I'm doing it right now. That's how I'm doing it right now. I had a woman, in terms of like psoriasis on her chest, and we tried a pure CBD isolate cream. 2 days later, it was all gone. Sent me pictures. And again, there was no study. It was just something we tried, and it worked great. And so I show those pictures to other patients that have that problem if they want to try it. The problem in this country is, of course, this is not a pharmaceutical medication. It's money out of your pocket, and it can be expensive.
Yeah.
I think is it true? I thought in Europe there are, I guess, the insurances can cover it. Is that the case?
In some countries they can. Let's say Germany, the doctor needs to give the prescription, and he needs to explain why he's using it, and he needs to explain that other therapies don't work, and then they can get on reimbursement. But you don't get the reimbursement in every country. So it's really different from country to country. So you can't not say Europe is Europe, but it's really it's Italy, Portugal, Spain, France, Germany. So it's really every country is deciding in a different way.
Right. No, most of my patients, it definitely helps, and then they just can't afford it because it can be very expensive. When you look,
it can be very expensive, but if you really have a problem and it helps, then maybe they are willing to pay
Right.
for it. So if you reduce your migraine, let's say, or if you psoriasis, if you look much better, I think maybe then maybe you reduce other costs and try to afford it.
So when you look at your company, I mean, you're doing like I talk about the steps to quality and the 7 steps, and you do all the right things. And the one thing I really like is you do your own research.
Yeah.
You have a whole research team, which is, I think, like that's what you need. You need everybody needs information, like you said, the right dose, the correct cannabinoid. And so, do they do that right in Switzerland, or is it done out of the country where you're doing your research?
Our research is done as well here in Riazzino. We have an R&D team sitting here developing new products. But I need to say, we don't do clinical studies, as we are only responsible for the API. We do a lot of preclinical studies. So we are testing our cannabinoids in cell models. So that we know that for psoriasis, our CBD works very well. Or we have one preclinical study done in a model for Parkinson, and we have seen that this works quite well. So we are doing these preclinical studies in Europe, often in Italy because of the language. But the development of our products is really we have our R&D team sitting here 10 meters far from me, from my office.
So it's great you do it. Like CBD, for me, is the main cannabinoid everybody knows about. It helps with a lot of different things. If it's inflammation, if it's migraines, pain. I know that CBG is very good for helping inflammation. Are you ever thinking of doing CBN's another, cannabinoid that helps with sleep? Is that something in the future you're looking into getting into?
Yes, well, we are discussing as well the smaller cannabinoids. Yes, and we are now starting to find a new extraction method from next year on. So I hope we can get as well minor cannabinoids. But we know that one of our customer, this company is located in Australia. They are now using CBD for sleep, and we have seen that CBD as well can help in sleep and maybe in anxiety sometimes as well.
Right. So CBD does help with that. With I think with the right dose for sleep. But I've seen some studies that CBN with the CBD helps with the sleeping process maybe be better. One thing I did learn recently with CBN, the breakdown of CBN can break down to a kind of a subtype of THC. So if you're somebody that's having a drug test and you just take CBN, the way it's metabolized in your body, it breaks down to a THC molecule, which if you do a drug test can be positive. So that's why, at least in the United States, there are some jobs that you have to worry about drug testing, and specifically the Department of Transportation, it's written in black and white, if you're positive for THC, we won't take CBD as your excuse. So those are the things, at least for me, it's not like treating people the right dose for the right problem, but making sure they're safe, especially with drug testing.
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest fear of a lot of customers to be stigmated. I don't know, can you say stigmated in
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, so that you really maybe you use it because you have really problems, let's say some female problems, and then everybody is saying, oh, you're smoking the whole weekend. So and this is it's big fear. Yes.
Right. So again, do you buy flower and then you make these products? You don't sell flower too, do you? It's mainly powder, creams.
It's powder and oil so far. Yes.
Right.
This is we are buying the raw material, but we are buying the raw material from controlled growers. We check them. They are working according to GSP, this good agriculture practice. and we are controlling which material they use to let the plants grow, if there are insects, what they are using, so that really there is a big and very good quality. So we are as well controlling pesticides and checking that there are no heavy metals in the plant, because heavy metals from the ground, they were collected in the plant if you don't check it. So you really need to be careful as well to check all the material. Well, and that's what we see in the food market. Sometimes if you really check, then there are a lot of pesticides and heavy metals inside.
Well, I know you're going to want quality in your product, because you also do things good for the environment. I'm looking at your website. It's interesting. What's it called? The
biogas.
The biogas
Yes.
project. Exactly.
Yes,
you take your raw material and you make it into energy. Is that what's happening too?
Yes.
That's amazing. You're
totally like
the environment.
Yes, we are partnering with some growers outside for let's see, for salad or something like this, and we are partnering together, and we have built up biogas, and now every raw material from our side is going into this, and yes, we are producing electricity.
No kidding. Does that power the whole place or just part of it?
Unfortunately, we cannot deliver it directly to our plantation. Would be good, because prices are increasing so much so far. But no, we will bring it in the normal net of electricity, and so I think we are covering, I don't know, 100 households, 200 households with our electricity. So it's really great, and we don't throw it away. You can use the rest after the fermentation. We can use it as fertilizer.
That's amazing.
So it's really wonderful. Yeah, we really like
everything right. You're doing good quality. You're getting the right, you're getting it to the pharmacies with good quality product, and then you're taking your raw material. You're making more energy. I wish we did more in the United States.
Green, yes.
That's amazing. You're totally green in every way. That's wonderful.
Yeah, yes, that's quite good. Yeah, that's right.
So you've been, the companies are in around 40 years. I saw it 1982, but this company wasn't doing cannabinoid production 40 years ago. It was probably doing something else.
No. You remember, it was not possible. So this was a drug, and you were not allowed to do.
Right.
No, we started with some products like ginkgo biloba, or one of our biggest products is scopolamine. I don't know if you have the brand Buscopan in the United States. It's a product against cramp, and so this is one of the biggest products in our company. And then we are producing as well 2 products from a seed from Africa, Boakanga seed, and which is called vinpositin, vincamin. And this, I know these products you find in some food products in the United States.
Right. And you still are producing those and doing distribution with those products? Because I did go on the website, it was more than just cannabis. It was other things that you've been doing for years.
Yeah. So it's really, for us, cannabis is one of our plant, and we only follow the same pharmaceutical route we have done for 40 years. The only thing is that we are now developing really one cannabinoid after the other, because it takes time, because we are GMP certified for our plantation, and we got as well from our medical authority, which is called Swissmedic in Switzerland. We got the approval for GMP for these different products, and for these you need to have stability data according to ICH, and this takes 2 years, 3 years, because you need to wait this time to see if the product is stable or not.
Right.
And therefore we cannot develop all the products at the same time, because we really need to do it in the good GMP practice.
Right, right. No, people, I try to explain to people the reason why CBD does cost money. It can be expensive. The process of doing the fermentation and making a good product takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And it sounds like you are doing that and plus more. And the whole company's green with the biogas project. So you do a good job. It's amazing. But it's so much different talking to people from Europe, how this is a total different way of how cannabis is made, and the distribution is so much different. Like I said, we need to learn. We act like in this country, United States, that it's the worst thing in the world, and Europe's already using it medically, much better than.
But you need to know. But you said you need to know that prices are a bit higher than in the US. When we compare our prices, we sometimes see, wow, we don't buy the raw material at this price, and this is the price for the consumer, and we didn't start to produce with these prices. So this is sometimes really interesting. So sometimes we really think, where did they get these products? And can't be controlled because if there is a laboratory in between and you need to control, then you have no chance to deliver at these prices.
You hit an important point in this country because you don't know what you're getting. And there are some CBD companies, it's really cheap, but who knows why it's so cheap? There's probably not good quality. And that's the problem here. People are trying it in the United States and they just don't know exactly how to use it and what companies to trust. And the cheapest CBD product is by far not a good product, and that's part of the problem. You can go into any drugstore, you can go to a gas station here in this country, and they have these gummies on the shelves, and they're cheap, but who knows where it's made? There's no information on where they got it and what's in it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and there was a study in the United States. They collected some CBD products and they compared them, and they have seen there is sometimes you think you're buying a CBD, there was a lot of THC inside, or no CBD inside, and a lot of pesticides. So this was really interesting, and you could see it if you say it's a full extract. When you say a full extract, it's really dark green, because everything of the plant is inside.
It's in there, yeah.
And then you see something which is yellow, then can't be the same product, because only from seeing it. And then you think you buy a cannabinoid, and then they only press some hemp seed, and this is totally different product.
Right.
So and this, I think, could be frustrating if you think maybe it could help, and then you take the wrong product, then you would say, okay, for me it doesn't help, but maybe it would have been good if they would have taken the right product. And therefore we really believe in Europe, we believe it's necessary to know what is inside. So if you take 10 drops, you know that you will always get at the same time the cannabinoids which you need within this 10 drops. So it's really standardized.
Right. I know the article you read, and I think it was 2015 or 2016, about them testing different products, and it was not exactly what was written that was in that product. And and so I have a little tiny website in this country for people that are interested in talking to me and products, and the companies that I use they give us the information with the product that they send us. It's a couple of them, so I feel comfortable with those companies and been using them for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think this is the right way to go.
Right. So again, in this country, it's really not regulated very well. It's a Wild West, unlike Europe, where at least it's being made and it's disseminated to the pharmacy that's making the product. You're giving them good quality CBD to use, and then from there, then you have a professional giving you information. Here you learn your information from like the dispensaries, the people, they know about their medical marijuana, but do they really know about everything else? And it's really tough here for a lot of people to understand and be like trusted, like a pharmacist, who everybody trusts a pharmacist. They're well trained. and that's how it's doing in Europe. And I wish we get there at some point in my life.
Maybe you relocate. Come on.
I don't
Come on
mind
to
that. It's not a
It's
bad
really
idea.
nice to live here, and I think we as well need doctors who can prescribe cannabinoids, because as well in our land, doctors so far are not trained like for other products, because the big pharma industry is not working in this field, and they are the one who are train. So now we discuss in Switzerland if doctors should be a special education, maybe 200 hours education to learn about all the different cannabinoids. I think this could help, because then you feel much better, and then you don't need to listen to your patient and he gives you some proposal, but you have the knowledge. Yeah.
Right. No, I love using this. People that want to give it a try, I've used it for a lot of different things. Specifically for me, it's pain. And instead of giving narcotics, we're using CBD capsules, and it's worked great for at least a dozen of my patients, and didn't have to touch a narcotic after a surgery. But the patients have to be willing to try it. And again, it's not something that's covered, which a lot of times patients are reluctant to pay for it, where you can get a prescription for a narcotic for free because your insurance covers it. So, but we're going to get there sooner or later. It's coming, and you're doing a great job. Your company's amazing.
I'm not. Do you really believe that the way of Europe will be copied for the United States?
At this point, I'm going to say no, because I think the first thing that has to happen is that marijuana has to change from a Schedule I to a Schedule II drug. And again, that's the schedule in the United States. Schedule I means there's no medical reason for it, like a street drug, if it's LSD or cocaine. For whatever reason, it's a Schedule I, and CBD is wrapped into the THC of the marijuana. They think of it as the same thing. Once it's a Schedule II, I think things will change, because then we'll get more research on it, and we'll get pharmacies more involved with it. And I think it'll be just like what's happening in Europe. And I think that's going to happen in time, because right now, most states in the United States are either recreational use is allowed and medical use is allowed. And it's almost all the states so far. We just got to get it federally approved.
But there are no FDA approval for one product, because I think as soon as maybe FDA will approve one product, this could help.
So could help. So could help. They actually had before COVID, one of my doctor friends went down to Washington talking about trying to get certain pure CBD products approved for Medicare, and at least it was a step. And this happened right before COVID. She went down. It was on the national news that there were doctors talking about getting CBD approved by Medicare to get it kind of covered by the Medicare insurance. At least it's a step, but it's going to take time. I think it'll eventually happen, but there's a bunch of steps to happen before. But Susanne, I have to go. I got to go back to work, see some of my patients.
Thank you that you take this time.
It was so nice talking to you. This is great.
Yeah,
you taught me a lot.
Pleasure. So if you will travel to Switzerland once, to the very nice part of the Italian Switzerland, then yes, I will show you.
I'm Italian. That'd be perfect.
And I will show you our company and how we produce the cannabis.
That'd be awesome. I appreciate it. Susanne, keep in touch. Nice talking to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Good time. Bye.